Shock rocked the headlines when Megyn Kelly's marriage came to an abrupt and unexpected end. Her husband reportedly filed for divorce almost immediately after a startling event that shook their relationship to its core. When the news broke, fans of the couple wondered if it was true. Find out the truth now. You might not know this, Megyn Kelly's introduction to Douglas Brunt was far from ordinary. It was orchestrated by the unpredictable hand of a blind date, set against the bustling backdrop of a lively bar in Washington, D.C. Brunt, confident and self-assured, walked into the meeting with a mental image of Kelly already formed. He had seen her numerous times on Fox News, so her appearance was familiar. Yet, for Kelly, the situation was a cocktail of curiosity, caution, and sheer amusement. Reflecting on the moment years later, Kelly would recall the odd mix of intrigue and suspicion she felt beforehand. "We met when we were 34 or 35. He was 34. He's always rubbing in he's 9 years, 9 months younger," she laughed, her voice carrying the mix of bemusement and disbelief. "And I was like, there's something wrong with him." At the time, she shared an office with Major Garrett at Fox News, now a CBS correspondent, and often confided in him about the absurdities of dating. "I said, is he either a serial killer, or is he gay, or he's got multiple personality disorders, something wrong with him?" she admitted. Kelly laughed at her own exaggeration, but beneath the humor lay the very real caution of a woman juggling career, motherhood, and the occasional heartbreak of dating in a city crowded with ambitious, self-assured men. Her hesitations were compounded by the life she led. Kelly was a devoted mother, but her demanding schedule often kept her from being present for her children. She would leave the house around 3 to 3:30 p.m., precisely the time her kids returned from school. The idea of adding someone new into that carefully balanced routine was daunting, yet curiosity won over, and she enlisted the help of 2 trusted friends to investigate Brunt before agreeing to meet him in person. In a scenario reminiscent of a rom-com, her friends initially spotted another attractive man and mistakenly assumed he was the intended bachelor. But after careful scrutiny, they located Brunt and, satisfied with their assessment, gave him the proverbial thumbs up. Kelly was kept apprised through a steady stream of updates, and eventually, she decided to take the leap. The moment they finally met in person, the contrast was striking. Kelly was immediately drawn to Brunt's authenticity, a refreshing change from the performative charm often displayed by the men she dated. His genuine demeanor, coupled with a grounded self-confidence, set him apart. Brunt, in turn, was captivated by Kelly's formidable energy and self-assurance, a woman who had built a career in a high-pressure environment, who navigated public scrutiny with grace and yet maintained a warm, unpretentious presence. As a CEO in the technology industry, he was no stranger to intelligent, driven people, but Kelly's blend of intellect, poise, and maternal warmth left him in awe. What began as a blind date quickly revealed itself to be an encounter charged with chemistry, mutual respect, and the subtle thrill of 2 lives, seemingly parallel, beginning to intersect. Despite the physical distance that separated them, Kelly in Washington, D.C., and Brunt splitting his time between Florida and New York, their bond grew steadily stronger. Long-distance relationships are rarely simple, and theirs was no exception. For Brunt, dating someone of Kelly's fame brought its own set of challenges. Accustomed to moving through the world without constant public scrutiny, he occasionally felt out of his depth navigating the attention and expectations that came with being with a high-profile news anchor. One incident early in their dating life underscored just how fragile things could feel. While out walking Kelly's dog, Brunt accidentally let go of the leash, almost leading to a minor accident. The scare was more than just a momentary fright. It symbolized the delicate balance their relationship required. In the wake of that near mishap, tensions surfaced, culminating in a heated argument. Yet beneath the raised voices and frustration was a deeper fear. The uncertainty of what the future held for two people whose lives were so differently structured. They weren't fighting about trivialities. They were wrestling with the unknown, with the precariousness of blending careers, lifestyles, and ambitions. The next morning, Brunt approached Kelly with calm reassurance, offering words that reaffirmed his commitment and quieted the lingering tension. That moment of vulnerability and honesty marked a turning point, bringing them emotionally closer than before. Their connection, tempered by trust and understanding, weathered these early storms. Shortly after, Kelly's career necessitated a move to New York, a transition that conveniently allowed them to be in the same city. The change accelerated their relationship, giving them more time to share everyday life and deepen their understanding of each other. Brunt's affection and certainty soon led him to one of the most defining gestures of their partnership. Unable to wait, he purchased a fake ring, choosing a beach in Delaware as the setting for a heartfelt proposal. Kelly, initially stunned by the spontaneity and sincerity of the act, responded with a joyful yes. Their engagement marked the beginning of a new chapter, culminating in a wedding at the opulent Oheka Castle in New York, surrounded by close friends and family. The day was a celebration of love, commitment, and the merging of two lives that had once seemed so distant. Life after the wedding brought its own richness and fulfillment. The couple welcomed 3 beautiful children, a development that added joy, chaos, and an even deeper sense of purpose to their lives. Meanwhile, Kelly's professional trajectory continued to soar. She became one of the nation's most recognized news anchors, navigating the pressures and visibility of her role with confidence and grace. Through distance, challenges, and life-altering decisions, their relationship endured, strengthened by patience, mutual respect, and an unspoken understanding that they were building something rare and lasting together. For a time, Megyn Kelly and Douglas Brunt appeared to have struck a delicate balance between their high-profile careers and personal lives. On the surface, everything seemed in order. Brunt had stepped away from the corporate world to pursue his true passion for writing, dedicating himself to novels and creative projects, while Kelly had firmly established herself as one of the most formidable figures in American media. The couple's life together seemed a careful orchestration of ambition and affection, a partnership built on mutual admiration and respect. Yet beneath the polished exterior, subtle fissures were beginning to emerge. Maintaining a marriage while managing public scrutiny and professional pressures was no small feat. Kelly's career was flourishing. She was at the height of her influence, her voice shaping national discourse, and her visibility at an all-time high. But with prominence came pressure, and with pressure came tension. The couple's private life, once a source of comfort and shared purpose, began to feel increasingly complicated. The seeds of strain were sown in the interplay between ambition, expectations, and the relentless spotlight of public attention. A key tipping point came during the tumultuous 2016 presidential campaign. Kelly, serving as a moderator for the Republican primary debates, confronted candidate Donald Trump with pointed questions about his treatment of women. Known for her incisive interviewing style, she did not shy away from the controversy. She cited his past derogatory remarks, in which he referred to women as fat pigs, dog slobs, and disgusting animals. The exchange was intense, public, and unflinching, and it quickly made Kelly a national talking point, praised by some for her courage and criticized by others who viewed her line of questioning as provocative. The fallout from the debate reverberated through Kelly's personal life as well. The scrutiny she faced was relentless, with social media and news outlets dissecting every word, gesture, and implication. Brunt, supportive yet mindful of the intensity of her public exposure, had to navigate the dual pressures of respecting her professional integrity while protecting the private sphere of their marriage. Arguments and disagreements began to emerge, often reflecting the stress of balancing personal priorities against the demands of a career lived under a microscope. While the debate itself was professional in nature, It magnified the underlying tensions that had quietly accumulated, exposing how challenging it was to maintain unity when both partners were operating in highly charged public arenas. When Donald Trump first turned his fire on Megyn Kelly during the Republican primary debate, many viewers assumed it was just another shocking moment in a campaign already defined by theatrics. But the attack didn't fade. Trump doubled down on social media, in rallies, and in interviews, escalating the tension every time he repeated or expanded upon his infamous remark that Kelly had blood coming out of her eyes, blood coming out of her everywhere. Some dismissed it as another one of his off-the-cuff jokes, a theatrical jab not meant to be taken literally. Yet for millions of others, including journalists, commentators, and ordinary citizens, the comment became a flashpoint in a heated cultural and political divide. Almost overnight, people began to choose sides. Some praised Kelly for her composure during the debate and admired her willingness to ask a difficult, pointed question. To them, she represented professionalism and courage in a media environment increasingly hostile to women who challenge powerful men. Others rushed to defend Trump, insisting the question was unfair, biased, or designed to damage his campaign. The feud became more than a single tense exchange. It became a national conversation about media integrity, sexism, and political accountability. As the controversy exploded, Kelly's visibility skyrocketed. She was no longer simply a star journalist. She became a central figure in an increasingly polarized media landscape. With that prominence came relentless attention. The scrutiny extended far beyond her work, infiltrating her home life and personal routines. The threats she received, online, in letters, and occasionally through more direct channels, grew alarming enough that her network increased security. The atmosphere around her family changed, tightening with each new wave of public anger. Her husband, Douglas Brunt, did his best to stand by her. At first, he was proud, even protective, believing she was doing important work and handling the pressure with extraordinary strength. Brunt had left his corporate career behind to focus on writing and to be more present as a father, imagining a quieter, more grounded family life. But the fallout from Kelly's clash with Trump shattered that quiet. Suddenly, he found himself in a spotlight he had never wanted. The stream of threats, the non-stop headlines, the paparazzi attention, none of it was familiar or manageable. What had begun as a political dispute spiraled into something that tested not just Kelly's professional resolve, but the resilience of her entire household. As Megyn Kelly's career surged to new heights, the pressures that accompanied her professional prominence began to infiltrate her marriage with Douglas Brunt. What had once been a partnership characterized by shared laughter, mutual admiration, and the excitement of navigating ambitious careers together now faced the corrosive effects of relentless public scrutiny. The 2016 feud with Donald Trump, while only one chapter in their story, had amplified the tension, thrusting Kelly into a media maelstrom that demanded long hours, constant vigilance, and unwavering composure under scrutiny. Each day she was called upon to defend her questions, her professionalism, and her integrity, leaving little time or energy for the personal connections that had once been the cornerstone of her life. Brunt, meanwhile, struggled to reconcile his own desire for a private, measured life with the realities of being married to one of the most visible figures in American journalism. The intrusion of the public into what had previously been intimate, protected corners of their lives became increasingly difficult to bear. Social media commentary, news cycles dissecting their every move, and the implicit pressure of appearing perfectly composed in front of the world created an emotional strain that neither had fully anticipated. Moments that might have been simple: dinner together, a weekend stroll, casual conversation at home, were often overshadowed by the weight of public attention. The gap between them widened not out of lack of love, but because the demands of fame and professional responsibility left little room for ordinary intimacy. Kelly's commitment to her work required a focus that Brunt sometimes found isolating, particularly as he pursued his own passion for writing, which by nature demanded quiet, uninterrupted time. Conversations that once flowed easily began to feel strained, and shared experiences grew fewer. While they attempted to navigate these pressures together, the intrusion of external forces, criticism, commentary, and public expectations, added an invisible friction to their relationship. The pressures on Megyn Kelly's life and marriage intensified when she made the high-profile move from Fox News to NBC in 2017. It was a decision that drew both attention and scrutiny. Kelly, known for her hard-hitting journalism and fearless political reporting, was stepping into a softer, entertainment-oriented role on Today. The transition was not without risk. Having spent years building credibility as a tough, respected journalist at Fox, she now faced the challenge of appealing to a broader, general morning show audience that valued warmth and relatability over rigorous interrogation. The stakes were high, and the adjustment required a delicate balancing act. Early into her tenure on Megyn Kelly Today, Kelly encountered one of the most significant professional controversies of her career. During a live segment discussing Halloween costumes, she commented on blackface, attempting to address cultural sensitivity but inadvertently making remarks that were widely criticized. The backlash was immediate and intense. Social media erupted, news outlets dissected her words, and public opinion quickly turned. Despite issuing an apology, the moment marked a turning point. It became clear that navigating a space so different from her previous journalistic territory came with immense risks. Within months, NBC made the decision to cancel the show, signaling both a personal and professional upheaval. Amid the turbulence in her career, rumors began circulating about Kelly's personal life. Media speculation suggested that the couple's marriage to Douglas Brunt was under strain, with some outlets hinting at divorce or significant conflict. Yet, according to interviews and insider accounts, these rumors were largely unfounded. Kelly and Brunt's marriage, while tested by public scrutiny and professional pressures, remained resilient. Brunt, reflecting on their relationship, praised Kelly's self-awareness, noting that they maintained open and honest communication. Unlike some couples who allow resentment or misunderstandings to fester, Kelly and Brunt were intentional about addressing issues directly. They put things on the table, tackling conflict with transparency rather than avoidance. Their personal life, though affected by media speculation, retained structure and stability. The couple divided their time between multiple residences, which provided both flexibility and a sense of grounded normalcy. According to Kelly's biography, they spent the school year in Connecticut, creating a stable environment for their children, and summer months at a waterfront home in New Jersey, allowing for family bonding away from the public eye. This rhythm, combined with mutual respect and commitment, helped shield their relationship from the chaos of public commentary and professional setbacks. Despite the challenges of a canceled show, widespread scrutiny, and relentless rumor mills, Kelly and Brunt's marriage endured. Their partnership exemplified resilience, navigating high-profile careers, public controversies, and the unique pressures of fame, all while maintaining an honest, communicative, and supportive bond. The NBC controversy may have been a professional low point for Kelly, but within the walls of their personal life, the foundation of trust and shared commitment between her and Brunt remained intact. What do you think about Megyn Kelly and her husband? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.